This is a quick rundown on the setup procedure for the stitch, fold, and trim on the Bourg AGR-P, AGR-T systems, which the AGR-T are the systems used on the tower BT12s and BST vacuum systems, and the AGR-P and PAP are the systems used on the horizontal machines like your AE collators. They're called the high profile. That's what we're going to be using for our demo today, but they all pretty much adjust the same way. First of all, the position of your stitcher heads. Now what I do is I set the stitcher heads up where on 8.5 by 11 they're stapling a little bit on the outside of the 8.5 by 11. This is 8.5 inches wide now. But without changing the stitch head, you can go to 11 by 17 and you're just stitching a little bit on the inside. So you can choose what you want to do. Whether you want to leave the stitch heads like this, the advantage is you don't have to be moving it for the predominant size, which is 8.5 by 11, stitched, folded, and trimmed, 11 by 17 stitched, folded, and trimmed. And not moving the stitcher heads is a significant savings in time and effort. So that could be your decision. The first thing you do, if you want to determine where the stitches go, you take the sheet that you're going to be stitching and you fold it once, then fold it twice. You fold your 11/17 in this case into 4. So typically your staple will go here and here on those outside folds. As you can see, you're pretty close to where they need to be there. A little bit on the inside, and there'll be a little bit on the outside on 8.5 by 11. Then, after you position your stitch heads, you fold your cover sheet in half like I did just now, 8.5 by 11, and then I'm going to insert the cover into the stitcher. Now the first thing that I set is the stops on this side. Now what I do is, if you can focus in right here on that fold right there, what you do is you adjust the stop fingers on the collator to the point where that fold is a 1/16 of an inch from the edge of that frame, that metal frame that I'm pointing to right there. I don't know if you can see that clearly on the tape or not, but the edge of that frame, your staple happens a 1/16 of an inch to the right of it. So then you adjust your stops where your fold is right there where it needs to be, and then you can adjust the position of your back jogger by moving your stitch head back and forth. Now in another video it explains what knob moves this, but you just adjust the stitch head back until you get just a little bit of push on the back of your sheet. Now your stop fingers and your back jogger are set. Your side jogger, in a previous video, it shows you how to set that one. And then of course you set this one where it pushes all the way across and just a tiny bit of buckle on your cover. Now, as it stands right now, your cover sheet, your stitcher is ready for a preliminary setup. Your stitcher heads are in position, your side guide, non-op side is set, your operator side push guide is set, your stop fingers and back jogger is set. So now you can go ahead and advance the set into your folder. Now, when the set is in the folder, you have several things you have to concern yourself with. The position of the fold is adjusted by your stop fingers, which are on the right-hand side or exit side. These are your stop fingers right here. They're adjusted by the small black knob in the center on the operator side. You can turn these stops and adjust them in and out. Now, most of your Bourg systems have scales right here. Some are in metric, some are in standard. In this case, this one's a SAE. So we know we're using 11 by 17, we're going to fold it in half. So we set our stop and we're going to fold it 8.5 inches. You can see that marked right there. And it's always best to mark them as I have this one marked. With all your standard sizes that you normally do, as you run those sizes, go ahead and mark it so that you can quickly set the machine up. So now you have that side set. Now you go to the other side and you push your set up against the stops. Now here, this particular system has back register. That's what these pawls are. What they do is they come up just before it folds and pushes the booklet against the stops. And that assures you that you get a good, accurate fold. The way these adjust is right inside this slot, there's an Allen wrench, an Allen screw, And you can use the T-handle that's provided with the machine. Loosen the screw and you can move these back and forth. You can push the button on the control panel, energize it to the forward position, and then adjust it till it touches the back of the booklet. You do not want your back register pawls to push really hard. You just want them to just hold the back of the booklet steady. Now, this one has two fixed carrier conveyor balls here and one movable. What I do is I move the adjustable ball just in front of where the back register pawls push in. Now, if you have a machine that does not have the back register option, you would want to move the ball back till it's on the edge of the back of the booklet. What that does is that ensures that your booklet's being held against the stops until the fold takes place. Now your folder is set up. Now here you have an adjustment. Now not all PAP systems have that. Only the newer models do. Your original PAP systems, the folders were self-adjusting. On the PAP-S and the PAT-S, this has an adjustment for your fold rollers, which is really a better idea because there's no way to have an automatic roller setting for 2 sheets all the way up to 20 sheets in manufacturing a booklet. So now your folder is set. Now the next thing you want to do is move over to the trimmer. Now there's not a lot to do on the trimmer, but basically what you have here is you have your stop position. Along here you have a scale in inches, sometimes it's in millimeters, but again we marked it where 11 by 17 will be. So we're folding at 8.5 inches, but we're going to have to trim a little bit into that 8.5. So we're going to be trimming at 8 3/8. You can see it set there. So you take this T-handle, again provided with your machine, loosen the bolts, move the bolts on both sides. You loosen this bolt and this bolt, and you can move the trim stop up and down. The reason for having adjustments on both sides is if indeed you have on that odd booklet where maybe it was printed a little crooked, you can actually trim it a hair crooked so that your trim is flush with your printing, and that's a good feature. Also, sometimes paper is not cut straight from the mill or from your paper cutter. So now your trimmer is set, your folder is set. So now you run your test booklet out, make sure that everything is set as it should be. So that's basically a quick rundown of setting up the AGR-P, PAP, and TR system. It's very simple, something that you can do in 5 to 10 minutes once you get a little practice with it. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.